welcome to the Unionverse. The Unionverse is my creation for the books that I write under both my own name of Kit Cox and under the name of Major Jack Union. Major Jack Union was very much my first creation, and although I have told this story many times, he was designed to be a anti-hero, and almost Victorian Judge Dredd, a weapon of the society that he was part of, not an actual hero for modern eyes and modern sensibilities to rally behind. And so his creation came off of the back of a book which I still haven't written, where two elderly monster hunters who are entering into the Victorian era have to accept that they're going to retire because they're being replaced by a younger monster hunter who they've actually trained up. And he originally started off as, I think, something like Max Power, a name which I lost to The Simpsons. That just goes to show how long ago this story started up. Anyway, I go around a lot of second-hand bookshops. I buy books all the time, or get given books by good friends, such as The Wonder Book of Aircraft. So any book that looks like it's basically been loved and read is something that I gravitate towards. And it might not be a subject matter that I'm particularly interested in, but if I feel that someone else has been interested in it, I'll be there as well. And it was in a bookshop, second-hand bookshop in Rochester High Street, where Charles Dickens, obviously all his stuff is, and the Dickens Festival happens. And it was in Rochester High Street that I went into Baggins, this second-hand bookshop, and I found a book which was a book about big game hunting, not monster hunting, and if it hadn't have been £350, I think I would have snapped it up there and then. The most amazing book, every chapter named after a different animal. So there was lions and tigers and bears, oh my. And each chapter was written as if written by a great naturalist, as someone that really cared for these animals, so someone that saw them in their native habitat, but also someone that carried a gun and wasn't too upset about taking one out. It's something of the era, and something which really just shocks and stuns us today. But publishers wanted these books written, and so they gave money to people that were already going abroad and said, please write a book about the indigenous people, about the animals there, about the architecture, whatever, and we will give you the money to write a book. And so that's what they did. But of course the people going abroad already had things that they were going to do, and for the nature books, a large part of them were written by big game hunters. So without breaking breath, they can tell you how beautiful an animal is and where its weak points are and what caliber of rifle to use. And I thought, do you know what? This is, with the advent of books like we've got the zombie survival guide. I probably have a copy on my shelves, but the zombie survival guide by Max Brooks is a fantastic book, because there's humour in it without being humour in it, and I thought I so much want to write something like that. So I took out the elephants, the bears, the tigers, and I replaced them with monsters from Victorian literature. I took out the big game hunter that you're supposed to love because it's him that's writing the book, and I replaced it with this weapon of the empire, and got Jack Union. A lot better name than Max Power, by the way. So So it was a book which kind of created itself, wrote itself, and it's given me a lot of love. It's given me a lot of fun to write, and I hope you guys have read it. If you haven't, I hope you've read some of my other books, which come off the back of that. But once I created this world, and it was a huge world to create around this first book, How to Bag a Jabberwock. But once I created the book, I then thought, okay, I now have a union verse that I can write all my other stories in as well. So Benjamin Gall, and upcoming books, Dr. Trips, which happens more around the First World War era. They're all set in this universe. So thank you very much. I hope you come back to the universe again, and see what else I have to talk about. There'll be lots of interesting stuff. My books, I'll read to you, I'll show you pictures, I'll give you tips. I'll even take you to the conventions that I go to. So please join me again soon. Bye-bye. Oh, and bring WD-40.